podcast show. I'm really excited for this episode and this segment of Industry Edge. Now, Industry Edge, we go all in behind what is actually happening in the future of the fitness and wellness industry. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking to somebody who's in it, who's been in it, and who's leading the industry specifically. No other than Barrie, the CEO of AUSactive, with me today. And there's been a lot of things happening in the industry, specifically what AUSactive is doing. So I thought I'd get him back. I think he's had a few episodes on this show, and he's one of the top listeners on this show, and also the people that love to listen to Barrie, because there's always some new things happening. So Barrie, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Oh, Richard, it's been too long since we last spoke, and I don't know about all those listeners. They're probably all my relatives and friends, I reckon, mate. But it's really good to be back talking to you. As you said, there's been so many things happening, and there's so many things about to happen, both with AUSactive here in Australia, but also internationally, that we are on the cusp of some really significant developments, I believe, in the next 3 to 4 years for our industry, both nationally and internationally.
There sure is. I mean, I'm getting a lot of communication from AUSactive, and there's a lot of initiatives that you're doing. And now I just want to probably bring this right to the attention. We've just got back from a trip from Canberra, big Parliament House down there, big dinners, big meetings, and a lot of industry players down there at Parliament House. And that was a really great trip that we had. And you were leading that. So do you want to talk about what happened recently at Parliament House, Barrie?
Oh, Richard, look, just fantastic. We had over 80 people from the sector, including clubs, trainers, marketing people like yourself. And we got together in Parliament House, in the theatre, in Parliament House in Canberra. And we had a number of presentations talking about what AUSactive is up to, but also the opportunities coming forward. We spoke about a million moves, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We spoke about some of the new membership categories, but the most important thing, I guess, was to have direct contact with ministers and their shadow counterparts from the opposition. You know, we had over 6 government members and opposition people come and speak to us and talk to us about what we can do as a sector to help them design and implement policies in the health portfolio of Australia. I mean, this is unprecedented to have an industry association like AUSactive having so much active engagement face-to-face with those politicians, people who make decisions, who implement policies. A really great day down there in Canberra.
How important is it, Barrie? Like how important is it to be connected down in Parliament there? Like what items and what processes and what issues will come out? And I know it's not just the one meeting, Barrie. This has been going on for many years since you've been leading the charge here. But what are you up to at the moment with these decisions?
Look, the important thing of meeting with politicians, Richard, is as much as we may not like government or individual politicians, we all have our own bent as to who we vote for. But that we have to acknowledge and realise that our life is organised around political decisions, whether it's legislation, regulation, licensing, whatever. So we have to deal with these people. These are the people that spend our money, our taxpayers' money. There has been a significant shift in the last 2 or 3 years, and it is actually ramping up quite radically at the moment and quite quickly, in the recognition of the importance of physical activity, exercise, fitness for individuals' well-being. Now, that's a lovely motherhood statement. We want to look better. But the politicians, of course, they want us to look better and feel better as well. They want to be able to get the photo opportunity with us doing that. But the bottom line is this is going to save the government money. The government acknowledge in their own budget papers that for every dollar spent in preventive health, it has a return of $14. Put that in a bit of context for you. There's about $130 billion in the health budget at the moment, of which only about $2 billion is spent in preventive health. If we can get more spent in preventive health, that actually has that 14 times return. Now that's all good, that's all theoretical. But what really excited me took place in just recently, in fact, on June the 30th, the end of the last financial year, the UK government announced a 10-year pivot to preventive health. Now they've done that for good reasons, to get people more active, of course, but also because of budget pressures on the National Health Service in the UK. We have exactly the same pressures here with Medicare. I anticipate that we're going to see a pretty radical shift to preventive health to keep people out of the health system in the first place. If we keep them out of the system, we don't have to go and see doctors. Then there's no challenge about finding someone who's not going to charge me the gap payment. We don't have to find a bed in the hospital. We don't have to worry about ramping outside hospitals because we're not going in there in the first place. significant change coming overseas, and it's going to come here as well. I have absolutely no doubt.
How amazing. I mean, more and more and every day, and I've been in this industry for many years. And I remember, like, if we go so far back, it's like, it wasn't even talking about such a thing. Like, we can actually get rebates back and so forth. And I'm out with friends. They're bringing up saying, oh yeah, I got a personal trainer. I got this rebate and that rebate. I'm doing allied health. And there's all these new conversations happening. And it's such a great part and an opportunity now to be in the industry, something we can be proud of, to actually be part of that preventative health concept, not just the fitness game as well. And that's really exciting. And what's exciting too, when you talk about figures that, $2 billion is only spent here, there's 128 billion over there. Talk about that for a second to the studio owner, the person that's gone out and invested all the money in the gym. What does it actually mean, dollars and cents in their pockets, once all this starts to roll through?
Okay, so I can give you a really good example here. And I don't want to be harping on the UK, but it seems to me that they're probably about 12 to 18 months ahead of where we're going here in Australia. It's a Labor government in the UK, big majority, a lot of similarities. 2 weeks ago, the government in the UK, the Prime Minister came out and said to doctors, stop giving these people certificates not to go to work and send them to the gym.
Oh.
Now think about that for a minute. Think about that. The Prime Minister of the UK has said publicly to doctors, stop giving people the excuse to not work, saying they're not capable or fit enough to work. Send them to the gym, get them back into the workplace. Now, clearly, there's a budget saving because it saves the government having to spend social welfare. But let's bring us back to Australia. What's the government here talking about as their main agenda for this next election period, this next government period? Productivity. How can we increase Australians' productivity? So this is where it comes back to our gym members. If people go to a gym and get fit, they go back into the workplace. If they go back into the workplace, they're adding to productivity, but they're also saving the government spending money to keep them at home because they can't work. So this is what it's going to mean for our gym members. The more that the government acknowledges the role that we play in preventive health and getting people ready for work or able to stay at work for longer because they are fitter and healthier, that's to the government's benefit. They're going to support that. That means that's going to drive more members of the community to our members in their facilities, to our PTs in the park. Doesn't matter where it is. This is really, it's not reversible. It is going to happen.
Love it. Barrie, how can we, and might bring us on our next topic I want to talk about, you got some very new initiatives in the membership categories in a second, but before we get to that, what can we do to start preparing as a fitness studio, a gym owner? What should we do now in 12 months? What would be some things to prepare for to get ready for this if they're not already ready?
Well, hopefully they are ready because they're going to be welcoming new members coming in through their doors. And if they're not, they have to ask. They need to come and talk to you about how to market their business, Richard. You know that better than me. So they need to be ready. But I think they can anticipate. People are going to come in. Look, they're going to come in not used to the gym environment. We know we've heard the term gym intimidation. That's a real thing when you walk doors for the first time. So that engagement with people through the doors is critical. They have to expect that people are going to come in perhaps with low expectations, because if they're coming off a period of not working, that becomes a bit of a mindset. So they have to be able to work with those people, encourage them, positivity, optimism, and so on. But they just need to have to be ready. I think that these people are going to come through the doors and just anticipate them coming, and then work with those people as those individual members of the community. Work out what they want to get back into the workplace. Work out what they want to get healthy mentally or physically. Now, hopefully that's happening already. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But they need to really get some professional marketing support as well, because people who've been told by a doctor, go to a gym, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to they might Google, where's my local gym? They might talk to some of their friends or family that go to a gym already. That word of mouth. Be prepared, spread the word, reach out to people. I would also encourage them to reach out to their local politician. If the politicians are going to be doing this, they need to make sure the politicians are aware of their service. Before that as well, though, they need to be building relationships with their local doctors, their local allied health people, because doctors need to have some confidence. If they're going to make a referral to Richard to go to a gym, It's
Yeah.
not going to be to go to gyms, Bob's gym down the road. It's going to be to a gym that's got some credibility, that's got some quality assurance over it, that they know the instructors working there are adhering to a scope of practice, a code of practice. And this is where our new membership categories come into play as well, because they're going to be wanting to refer to a gym, I think, that is part of an industry body, because they will know the industry body is auditing those members, auditing the businesses to make sure they're providing.
Well, without a doubt, because doctors have to be careful on these things, so that's definitely the way they're going to go. And that's perfect segment into the new membership categories. First of all, tell me all about this, because this is all brand new, and this hasn't been done for many years. So let's about why you're changing membership categories. What does it mean for everybody? What do we know?
Well, it hasn't been done for many years, and in one case, it hasn't been done at all, as far as AUSactive is concerned. So we know from our business members, Rich, that they really want their staff, whether they be an independent contractor, a sole trader, or an employee, they want their staff to be a member of AUSactive, because it demonstrates to the business that their staff are serious about making a profession. It means they can promote that membership of AUSactive to potential clients and existing clients. So it starts with that credibility. And business members have told us, we really want our staff to join. We know since COVID, there's been a bit of a problem with the workforce, in that there's not enough people actually looking for work in our sector. We lost a lot of members from our workforce. That's gradually returning as the vet sector and the tertiary sector start pushing out more graduates. So it's been getting harder for our business members to recruit staff. If they then say to those staff, we want you to join AUSactive, and that potential employee says, yeah, I'm happy to join. Do you know what? I don't want to have to do CPDs, or what we used to call CECs. I don't want to have to do that. And that basically meant we were causing a point of friction for our business members who wanted their staff to join, but we're putting up a barrier. So there's two new membership categories. They're actually two tiers. The first tier is registration. So any professional who's got recognised qualification, recognised by AUSactive, has a valid first aid certificate and a valid CPR. If they are an independent or a sole trader, they must have insurance as well. If they're working for they're an employee, the insurance of their boss should cover them. If they've got that CPR, first aid qualification, they can join as a registered member of AUSactive and not have to do any CECs, or what we're now calling CPDs, to maintain that membership. This is a fundamental change of what AUSactive has required in the past. So let me repeat that. You can join as a registered member with a valid qualification, valid CPR, valid first aid, and there is no requirement for you to maintain that membership to maintain your registered status. So that's the entry level to be a member of AUSactive.
Wow, and that's massive, because that hasn't been done. Good on you for also realizing that was a barrier which you highlighted and adjusted to make sure that we can get everybody aboard.
Exactly. We are responding to our members' needs. And look, it's taken us but for organisations, any industry association, to actually introduce something like this takes time. We've got to go through all the due processes. We consulted far and wide with our business members to make sure we had it right, and they've been universally welcoming of this change. The other category that I mentioned, we now have the two categories, registered and accredited. So an accredited member will be a member who actually still does their CPDs. Now, I've mentioned CPDs a couple of times now. Let me explain.
Yeah, tell me about CPDs, because I always thought it was CECs, Barrie. It
was continuing education. Now it is continuing professional development. And we've changed it not just to change the words, but CPD is terms that the medical fraternity acknowledges and recognises. It's a term the allied health recognise, but also it's a reflection that people can do professional development in ways other than just education. So they can be doing it in the workplace. They can be doing it as self-reflection of what they've been doing with a particular client and so on. So it is more contemporary. We've also changed how organisations and members can actually accumulate the CPDs. If you work for a gym chain, got really good in-house training, professional development, we will now recognise that as CPDs. Yep. You can do your CPDs. You already get CPDs for your qualification, your first aid and your CPR, etc. So you can very quickly accumulate those 20 CPDs over your 2-year period, so you can maintain or attain accreditation. Now, if you're registered, and you've gone to some of our webinars, including the webinars you put on, you start accumulating your CPDs, you can go up to accreditation if you wish to. If you're accredited, you can drop back to registration. It is the individual's choice to do what they want. There is no price difference. This isn't a price, this is not a price gouge, same price for membership, registration or accreditation. We anticipate that most of our members will graduate to accreditation, because through that they'll get access to the public health benefits which we're working for. You mentioned before, your friends and colleagues talk about the money they're getting back from private health. That will be confined to those who are accredited. That's not necessarily our choice. That's the public health funds. They tell us we need to have higher standards there, I guess. So this is a fundamental change: registration, accreditation, choice to the member.
Yeah, great. This is awesome. Really highlights the fact that the industry is growing, and it's growing in the right direction, a growing direction of where people actually need it and where people value the fitness industry and the wellness industry. I've got one more. I want to get now to talk about some stuff like the awards.
Yeah.
Before I do, I want to talk about wellness for a second, Barrie. Just a bit of fun facts from Barrie. I'd love to know just 4 or 5 random questions, which I'll put you on the spot. I haven't told you yet what they are, so just to be full comparison. Nobody's told, but I just want to hear about your viewpoints of wellness. I'm going to ask you a quick couple questions. Have you ever done an ice bath before, Barrie?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you like weights, or do you like cardio in the gym, Barrie?
I do both.
Awesome. Do you do any aerobics or those mills classes, Barrie?
No.
And where is your gym of choice? Where can we see you working out, Barrie?
You want me to name the brand?
Brand is good.
Okay, so it's Plus at Cremorne.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Barrie. All right, Barrie, let's get on to these awards that are happening in September. I'm really excited because I just got my table ready to go. And I've been selected Educator of the Year a few years running now, Barrie. Wink, wink. Still haven't won the one, so I'm hoping this is the year. And a lot of registered entered these awards in many different categories: Independent Business of the Year, multi-service. There's a whole range of awards, and I hear this is going to be the biggest awards on yet that you've ever had. Tell me about these awards and what it's about. There's a lot of things happening in September as well.
Yeah, look, the awards, I'm really looking forward to it. That's almost going to be my swan song with AUSactive, and I'm really looking forward, because look, it's a night of celebration. We put on our glad rags. If I dance, you'll see why I don't do dance classes at the gym. But look, it's a fantastic night. Last year, we sold out here in Sydney. So we've moved the venue. We now have a capacity for 600 people at the awards. But at the time of doing this, Richard, I can tell you that even with 6 or 7 weeks to go, we are almost sold out.
Wow.
So you've got your tables. We had a record number of applications for awards this year.
Yep.
It is just a fantastic demonstration of all the good things that we do as a sector, as an industry, as businesses, as individuals, engaging with the community and helping Australians just generally get fitter and healthier mentally and physically. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night. We've got fantastic entertainment. You might win an award. No promises. I have no say. We have an international panel of judges. They're all they don't know each other's voting and so on. It's going to be enough nights. Yeah,
it should be good. It will be a great night, and I'm looking forward to that. And I guess around that time, there's a lot of things happening in the industry. Every year, we the Oz Fitness show, Sean Krenz's show there. Every year they say, I didn't know that was on. So how does that, is that part of the AUSactive brand? For those who don't know what it's about, can you tell us a little bit about that for those who are newer to the industry? Okay.
Yeah, look, we've purposely aligned with Sean's show in Sydney, Richard. So the awards, as you know, is on the middle night of the
Oz Fitness Expo. We'll put a link in there. Oz Fitness Expo.
The Oz Fitness Expo, that's right. We purposely aligned because we want to be able to, I guess, use leverage off each other, but also we have suppliers awards and stuff. So we're trying to industry back in with the suppliers, general community. So people that come to Sean's Oz Fitness Expo, some of those will come onto our awards. So it's an intrinsic link which we've been working very hard to develop, and it makes sense to us to keep that going.
Yeah, great. I just had Sean on the podcast. So if you haven't, look out for that one, guys. If you want to listen to that one, it's on the 19th to 21st of September, the Oz Fitness Expo. Now, Barry, I'm located up here in the Sunshine Coast, as you know, and there's a lot of movement around the concept of Million Moves campaign. Tell me about what that is, and I think it's going to happen in September.
It's going to happen big time in September, absolutely. And it comes back to your earlier question, Richard, what does this mean for individual businesses? What's it going to do for my bottom line, etc.? Let's just go back a step and talk about the history of how this came about. So Emmett Williams, who was with MyZone at the time, and myself were both in Singapore for the Beyond Active show over there, and we're having a glass of wine. Had a bit of a conversation about let's get something going with politicians. And this also led to the event we just talked about in Canberra, the recent event we had there in Canberra. Years ago, we ran an event for politicians in Canberra called Fit for Office. A bit of a play on words, because politicians are always accusing each other of not being fit for office and all the rest of it. So we wanted to test that out. 2 years ago, we had 26 people involved in that, 26 politicians involved across Senate, House of Reps, Labor, Liberal, Greens, Independents, every state involved. It was really good. Out of that came a request from one of the participants from the sunny coast, Andrew Wallace, who's lecturers up there on the Sunshine Coast. He asked if we could put on an event up in the Sunshine Coast between him and 3 of his colleagues, and it was called A Million Moves. And the idea was to get activation of the community only in the Sunshine Coast over 4 electorates.
Yep.
We did that on the smell of an oily rag with a very, very quick startup period, no budget, really sort of testing the waters. But because of the participation from local businesses, the university up there, the politicians, the media up there, the FM station, etc., we're able to get 1,500 people who never exercised before actually exercising. And that was a really successful model. Out of that came funding from the Queensland government to run it statewide. We also picked up funding from the West Australian government to run it statewide in WA. And we recently just picked up funding from the Institute of Sport to run it in Ballarat and Wollongong in Victoria and New South Wales. The event's going to run from the 1st of September to the 21st of September. We have a lot of our business members and non-members who are going to open up their doors for that 3-week period to encourage non-gym people to come into their facilities, free trials. There's going to be activities as well. The Million Moves doesn't mean you have to go to a gym. You can go surfing, you can go swimming, cycling, rock climbing, whatever you want to do. It's just moving 75 moves a day over 21 days. We've got a $100,000 prize pool for it this year, including schools can actually win a gym for their school. So gyms want to participate. So schools want to participate. They can win a fit out for a gym in their school. It's just, we've got Coles vouchers. It's just really fantastic. Now, why this is important for our business members and your customers is if we can make this work, and we will make it work, I have absolutely no doubt, this campaign will go national, and it will go national for a period of 3 to 5 years. Now, what does that mean? Let me just go backwards for a step. We know at the moment that between 7.5 and 8 million Australians over the age of 15 go to a gym at least once a year. So we are the activity exercise modality industry of any in Australia. We have any sport, more than AFL, more than cricket, more than rugby, whatever it is, the biggest participation. These aren't my figures, these are government figures. So, almost 8 million people go to a gym at least once a year. That's interesting. What is more important is that for people thinking about exercising, every 1 of 2 that think about exercising, they will go to a gym and give it a go once, okay? If we get 1 million moves actually happening nationwide, we're going to encourage a lot more Australians. Our target is 15% of Australians. That's another 2 million Australians. That means of those 2 million, 1 out of 2, 1 million Australians are going to go to a gym for the first time. Now, I put it to you, Richard, if we get another 1 million Australians going to a gym once, we've done our job. Then it's up to the gyms to do their job to make sure they embrace them when they walk through the door and convert them into a member. That's why Million Moves is so important. That's why it's really important that all our members get involved in Queensland, WA, Ballarat and Wollongong, get involved this year to make it non-negotiable the government doesn't fund it next year and the year after nationally.
And I think that's a great way to get involved in the early stages here, especially what you're talking about with getting involved in politicians and doctors and that. You're seen to be at the forefront of this amazing campaign to get everybody lower the risk of health concerns in Australia. Really exciting stuff, Barry. Now, the other thing that I know is on the agenda, haven't talked about, is your departure, Barry. I have to bring that up because I may not have another chance to do a podcast with you. We'll see how we go. But tell me about that. I mean, is it what happens you've been in the for many years. I remember your first you first came in knowing anything about the industry, and I don't know how many years it is now, Barry. I'm sure you know the numbers, but you're moving on, Barry.
Yeah, no, I am moving on, Richard, quite right. And I recall when I first came into this hot seat, and it was bloody hot, believe me, meeting up with you, and I really appreciated your candour and your constructive criticism of what was in Fitness Australia, what we were doing wrong. And I hope that some of the changes we've made over the last 6.5 years since I've been here, actually you can see those changes and you can see the reflection of the constructive criticism you gave me almost 6.5 years ago. So for me personally, look, I feel like it's time to move on. People say to you, are you going to retire? And look, people look at me and they think, shit, mate, you're an old man. About time you did retire. No, I'm not going to retire. If I have any say, I'm not going to retire. I need to keep working. I need to keep my mind active. So I'll be looking for other opportunities anywhere and everywhere, whether it be working as a CEO somewhere, providing some consultancy services on boards, wherever, it doesn't matter. I just want to add value back to the community. I really feel the need to sit myself mentally to go with the physical activity that I maintain, but also I think we need to give something back to the community, and we should do that until they actually drop off the perch, in my mind.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful when you hear it that way. And just to be clear, so it's 6 years as the CEO, and that's pretty much the time that AUSactive allows you. And I understand that. What do you think the future now? You know, everything that you've got to this point. What's next? Is it a continuation? Is it something totally different? What would members expect from AUSactive? Where do you think it's going to go?
So as you know, Richard, when we're down in Canberra, the new CEO was announced, and I have absolute confidence that he will be able to. I think we're heading in the right direction. It can do with some acceleration, and I think this new CEO is going to make a big difference here. He's got the network, he's got the context, and he will be leveraging that, I'm sure, to make sure that he pushes forward very proactively, very constructively, working with our members, that where we've been heading for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's almost 7 years I've been here. I've got to correct you there, not 6.
Seven years. I had no idea. The time's just flown past, Barry.
Yeah,
so
well, you know, it's
7.
It's a 7-year, Richard. It happens with marriages and relationships. You either have to move on or find someone to work with, a marriage or an employment place for that matter. But no, look, he will do a really good job. And the beauty of what he's going to inherit here at AUSactive is a really wonderful staff, wonderful team, a very supportive board, and both sides of the equation and the staff really want to keep the momentum going and accelerate it, and I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And just to recap that, Barry, it's been a pleasure having you as CEO of Fitness Australia, now AUSactive, which you've been the driving force, and team at AUSactive has totally transformed. You've got an amazing team, always new people popping up, and they've got really great culture, really great energy. So you've done amazing work, and thank you on behalf of the fitness industry and wellness industry. You've done an amazing job at that, and I look forward to seeing you back in Sydney at the awards.
Absolutely look forward to it. And Richard, thanks again for your support. This is a fantastic industry. As you said, I came in as a novice, as a baby. And the reason why I'm here 7 years after coming in for a 6-month interim contract is because it grabs you. This industry grabs you and it just shakes you, and you think, this is such a great industry, a great sector with the capacity to do so much good. You can't not be part of it.
Totally agree with that. And I think that's what happened. You come in here and you don't leave. So thank you so much, Barry. Really appreciate your time. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm really excited to hear all these new initiatives. And I think the biggest question we like to do on this show, Marketing Muscle, is ask you the question is, what's the best ways to market? And I think you've really answered that with really bringing that to the table, getting everybody involved in making fitness more of a 100% need out there. I always say marketing's, you're either marketing a need or a want, and what you've done over the period is getting the fitness industry is to be a need, not just a want. And I think that's the best way to market.
Yeah, and Richard, just in closing, we didn't mention it when we were talking about a million moves, but people watching this podcast, if they want to be involved, and please be involved because it's to your own benefit, go onto our website or look for the Million Moves website and register a team, register yourself as an individual, cost you nothing, but be part of it. It's going to be bigger than Ben-Hur.
millionmoves.org.au. Thank you so much, Barrie. And guys, if you enjoyed this episode, there's heaps more to come, and there's heaps of previous episodes you can listen to. So watch out on the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Thanks, Richard.